Okay. Everybody say live on it?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I think we're supposed to start off with introductions. So I'm Emily Stumler, and I currently teach within Oldham County, and I'm a special education teacher. So I go into classrooms, and I also pull kids out of classrooms for ECE services, so any kiddos with 504 plans or IEPs.
I am Bobby Kinsley. I teach first grade at South Central Elementary School. It's a small rural school in southern Indiana. This is my 7th year of teaching, and I've been in 6th special ed and 2nd as well. First year and first.
Okay. My name is George Taylor. I teach in Jefferson County. Um, I teach at Westport Middle School. I teach physical education, grades 6 through 8. Been doing it about 7 years now. Um, Pretty good job. Kids can get a little wild in the gym.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch to screen share so I can show you the first tool.
Are we? Go ahead.
All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. The first tool that I used was Animoto, and Animoto is just a quick tool that you can use. It has an Apple and an Android application for it, so I listed that as a pro. I also listed one of the pros as it has a 14-day trial period that you can use. Basically, it's just a program that takes photographs and creates a slideshow through them, and you can add text to each picture, and you can also add music to it as well. So my pros were it has a trial period that you can use it for free. It has Android and Apple apps for the program, and also it has a variety of plans, so not just for educators, but also with businesses. They have a business plan. Some of the negatives for this program for Animoto is that if the 14 days aren't enough time for you, you will have to use you'll have to purchase a plan, and it might not be something that you can use in the classroom, especially with like lower age children, if you're having to if it's going to take longer than 14 days, especially if you're in related arts or special area. I felt like there was limited text, so when you're creating your actual Animoto slide presentation, you can only get a little bit of words on each screen, so you have to be really picky-choosy about what you say. And also, if you're using the free trial, there's going to be a watermark on each of your slides.
Okay.
Okay, let me get out of sharing my screen. Alrighty.
What grade level would you think could use that?
I was thinking intermediate, because with it only being 14 days, you would have to get your projects done sooner. And I don't know, just the layout of it, it just seems a little bit more mature than some of the other tools that I use.
I did Animoto as well. Something I know. That was really frustrating. All right, who's next?
Do you want me to go next?
Yeah, you're second, right?
I can't hear what you're saying, George.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay, yeah, you're second, right?
Yes, yeah, I go next.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Let me get my screen share on. The first one that I did was ABC Ya Animate. It is a really easy to use website. It's part of the ABC website. It allows you to make animations. It has lots of backgrounds and clip arts and drawing tools that you can use. It's really easy. It goes frame by frame, so you can change exactly what you want to happen each time you go on to the next frame. It was really easy to use, and one of the main reasons I picked it was because I have iPads this year, new, and I wanted to try to find new ways to use them in my classroom. While using it, again, I found out my #1 pro is it's super easy to use. I didn't even watch a tutorial. I just started playing around and making something. It definitely looks kid-friendly, which is good for my first graders, but I don't know how appropriate it is for the older grades. You can't create an account, which stinks, because if you need to stop, let's say the class time is over, I couldn't figure out a way to save the project, which means your kids would have to start over every day, which would be awful. There were some cons to it too. A lot of the clip art that I needed wasn't available, and I couldn't figure out a way to like copy and paste it in, so then I had to draw it, which after a while got really annoying to have to draw all my pictures. I also couldn't figure out a way to change the frames, so when I made a mistake I had to start all the way back over, which was frustrating. And then again, not being able to save the work really stinks. But it's super easy to use. Each of the frames are laid out across the top, and you can add images, which they have a bunch of clip arts, but again, they don't have very many, so I had to end up drawing a lot of my own. And then you can draw, and you can add backgrounds. It also is kind of cool. It lets you copy the frame before, so you can see exactly where everything was, so as you move things across, it's really easy to see it. Like I did the timeline, and so I would have the one before that showing, so that I would see exactly where my bus was as it moved across the page. Hopefully it's going to load. So then I would be able to show like the shadow of my bus as I moved it across, which made it really easy. And I think that's one really good feature for younger kids, is that it's super easy to use. I again would probably suggest grades 1 through 5. I don't know, just because of how it looks, if older grades would really want to use it. It's kind of kiddish, but it's a really easy way for them to animate any story that they created, a narrative or a persuasive or anything that they've written. And I think it's a cool site. I'm excited to use it with my class.
When I was in the computer lab, I used ABC a lot. A lot of really good.
They have a lot of. Sorry, what?
I was just saying, there's a lot of really good tools on there.
Yeah, I didn't even know they had an animation tool until I did this project, and I found one. They have a lot of cool resources on their site that are very kid-friendly.
Right.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and move on to mine. I use Animoto as well. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen on that. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so Animoto, really neat tool. Like you said before, is a video making tool. They create short videos from images and pictures that you upload. All of the videos are assisted with music, and you can add subtitles to each picture. So basically, you upload your different pictures on there, and it creates like a short music video for the pictures and the texts you have. So it was a really fun tool to work with. Some pros of the tool: user-friendly, easy to use, very user-friendly, very easy to get the text and images on there. It's a free tool, so that's always good when something's free to use. Images uploaded easily. The pictures were presented creatively through a music video type of style, like I mentioned before. You know, it presented it creatively in the music video format. Some cons of the tool: you needed to pay for the advanced features, like you mentioned before. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure that my computer is exactly right. But like you mentioned before, um, the amount of text that you could add to each image was it was very limited. It was very limited. So it was very frustrating that you had to really scrunch up what you wanted to put on each slide. Um, and also the features offered with the free version very limited. That was frustrating. I would recommend grades 6 to 8 middle school or high school with this tool because it creates music videos. It could get a little complex, but I would recommend secondary with that. And if you guys can still see the screen okay, I'll kind of show a little demonstration of what it looks like. Okay. Get back over here. Okay, okay. I didn't mean to show the whole video. I tried to stop it, but it kept going. But that was Animoto. Did you guys see that? Did you see that? Okay. Did you see my Could you see the video that I showed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody see that? Okay. All right.
Does it have songs for you to pick from? Or do you have to?
Yes, it has a database. It has a database of songs to pick from that you can add to your videos. Yeah, pretty wide database of songs.
I think the format would be really good for, like you said, intermediate kids and older kids, because I think music videos are something that they're always watching, and so I think creating something in that would be interesting for them.
Yeah, like I mentioned, the most frustrating thing about it was the amount of text that you could add to each slide. Like you really had to crunch up what you wanted to say and really cut out a lot of stuff. Like it was really tough. I think it only gave you 50 characters to work with, so that's like 7 or 8 words to tell about the history of what we had to do. You had to really limit what you wanted to say and be creative on what you said with each slide because of the small amount of words you could add with it.
I thought kids would get frustrated with if you were using the trial period and they created their final product and then all of a sudden they have the whole Animoto watermark in the middle of their presentation, and you'd have to go into a whole lesson of copyright and why that shows there, and which is important, but also I think you take all that work and then, because I know I was when I went to embed it on my Weebly and I was like, hey, and then I read further in the website and they said you can't get that removed unless you pay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't like that watermark on there either. I agree.
All right, my next up is ZooBurst. And let me get my screen share here. Here it is. All right, so ZooBurst is, I felt like it would be great for primary students or really any of the elementary level. It is a great tool for digital storytelling as far as the book being in a pop-up nature. So over here you have the option for adding in pictures. Earlier I was just kind of Googling. You could type in any type of animal. Let's say you're making a story about a cat, but you can make multiple cats if you wanted. I like that you could change the size of your images once you had them on there. So if you had like a mommy cat and a baby cat. But I did like that. The one thing about ZooBurst, I guess you would say as a negative, you can't change the backgrounds unless you purchase a membership. So some of the positives of ZooBurst, I like that you could edit your images once they were put into the storybook. They have an Apple application for this program, but they do not have an Android. So I also counted that as one of my minuses. So if you were working with Android devices in your classroom, like I have a couple Android devices in my classroom and in our school primarily, I only have to rely on ZooBurst on the internet using it. I really like the pop-up. I thought that as you're adding and the pictures are changing, that kids would enjoy that engagement factor. I also like with ZooBurst that you can, there's a lot of different options as far as, once you get your page, you can save it and then go on to your next page. And each time you turn the page, and I think I have mine pulled up here. Here's my example. Every time you turn the page with ZooBurst, it has like this little pop-up noise, and I just thought it'd be good for elementary students. But here's mine, just kind of run through some of the pages. I'm not giving it enough time. There it goes. So another thing, compared to Animoto, I like that you can add in more text underneath your images, and the images uploaded easily. Compared to Animoto, I found that with Animoto, I had to find larger scale pictures because it would tell me that they weren't big enough for the Animoto, but I didn't have any problems with ZooBurst as I was adding in. Let's see, let me get back to ZooBurst. So I have their plus. You can edit images. There's an Apple app. I thought the pop-up style was something all students can relate to and would be a good engagement factor. Your backgrounds and your images are limited. It is really easy to upload pictures that you've saved to your computer. I thought it was pretty pricey. If you were going to purchase it for your classroom, it would be, you'd either have to pay $10 a month, or you could buy a yearly subscription for $50. So all the different subscriptions that you get with in your classroom going, they can really add up. As far as I know, I have Reading A to Z right now, and that's a pretty big chunk. But I really liked ZooBurst. I thought that it was easy to use. I've used it with a couple of my students that are lower functioning in the classroom, and they've really enjoyed it. We've been doing social stories, so just them really working on the elements of like what makes a good friend and how they can manage their anger. They've really liked it, so it has been something that I've implemented into my actual classroom.
I use ZooBurst as well, and I thought it was a easy tool to use also. So I was just letting you know that I use that one as well. I think we're following each other on the same tools.
Yeah.
But I'm third on the list to go, so Emily, if you wanted to go next.
All right. Let me get my screen share going. The next tool I used was Glogster. It is a really easy to use platform for creating posters, really high quality engaging posters. It has lots of different clip art and text boxes and all kinds of things that you can use. Mainly I picked it because it had a lot of really high reviews, and again it has an iPad app, which is big for me right now. I'm trying to find ways to use my iPads. It does have lots of resources that you have to do, so you don't have to do a lot of searching and saving to your computers. It has them right there for you to use them. The image quality is really high, and it looks really professional when you're done. There are lots of ways to share it, including printing, which I thought was good. It's not very easy to use, which is a big con for me teaching first grade. This is not something that I would use with them. I think it's way too complicated. Things like changing the font box or copying, etc., took me a while to figure them out, and I just don't think they'd be able to do it. Also, it's not free. You only get a 7-day trial, which isn't long enough to really figure it out and get much done in your classroom, and then you have to pay. And it takes a while to load things. I kind of have bad internet where I am, where I live, but it takes a lot to load and reload things. This is the one that I made, and as you can see, it's not even loading some of the stuff that I added to it. But these boxes and the timeline and all of the fonts and all of those things were there, and then they did allow me to search and find the pictures. And I mean, it looks good, and it makes a good product, but my first graders would not be able to use this, and it did take me a while to figure it out. This was one of the hardest tools that I used. So again, I would probably say grades 6 and above would be able to use just because of how hard it is. I think it'd be a really engaging way for them to make posters about informational topics or persuasive topics or anything that they want to share with the class. It definitely takes posters to like the next level, so I think that's good, but just not something that I can really use in my classroom.
One of our teachers at school uses Glogster for creating infographics, and they found like the app usually ties up the network so much that we had to take it off of our iPads at
Oh
school.
yeah, I'd believe it. It took forever for things to load, and whenever I try to open it, it takes forever. Like pieces are always missing and stuff. So, I mean, it's high quality, but I guess you have to pay for that with the
Yeah.
time.
I tried Glocks or something I played around with, but I couldn't. I didn't really like it, so I left it alone. But I gave it a shot. So, but I know what you mean. It is kind of hard to work with,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah, I definitely, if I was going to use it more, I would probably want to do like tutorials or just spend some time playing around. But since I had a certain project in mind and I was trying to get it to do a certain thing, things got really frustrating and it took forever.
Right. Okay, like I mentioned before, my next tool was ZooBurst. I'll go ahead and share the screen on that one. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me come up a little bit. It's in the right one. Just a second. Okay. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see that?
Yes, we can.
You can see the ZooBurst screen here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. I think I'm having a little trouble with audio on my computer. Sorry. But like you mentioned before, digital storytelling tool that allows anybody to create digital 3D pop-up books. You can easily upload images and text to each page. Um, so basically, you upload images, text, and you create little 3D pop-up books that you can move around. So a really neat tool. Um, some of the pros of it. User-friendly, very easy to use. Um, it allowed you to type in a large amount of text, which I appreciated after working with Animoto when you couldn't type in a large amount of text. It presented the information in a creative way with the 3D pop-up books that you could move around. So it presented them. It was really neat to show those pop-up books. Some of the cons of the tool: to get advanced features, you had to pay for them, like mentioned before. No spell check was available, so if you typed in a lot, there was no type of spell check. If somebody's not a very good speller, then they would have a lot of misspellings in their presentation. Something I found is you can only put in 10 slides. You can only put in 10 slides in the presentation. After if you wanted to have more than like 10 slides or pages, it cuts you off at 10. So I found that because I was going to go over 10, but it cut me off right at 10. Here is, I'll just kind of show an example. On this, so you can see that. It shows the book and the pictures pop up with it, like showed before. You guys can still see it, okay, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yeah.
and what I mean by 3D, if you drag it, you see how that moves around.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can drag it around. So if you're presenting to kids, you can just they would find that neat. Just moving it around and stuff like that.
I didn't know it could do that.
Oh, you didn't know you could do that? Yeah,
No.
if you just left click and drag, each one you can move it around. That's why it says 3D
Okay.
pop-up book.
Yeah.
That's why it's the 3D version, because you can do all that neat stuff with it. I would recommend this for any grades, elementary, middle, or high. It's easy enough to use for elementary school kids as well. Let me get back to my regular screen here. Let's see. Right down here. Okay. We'll get back. All right. Am I back to the regular screen now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, my last one that I did was Little Bird Tales. George, did you do that one?
I didn't do Little Bird Tales. No, I didn't.
All right.
We finally got one that's a little different.
Good. All right, let's see. I really liked Little Bird Tales. I chose it at first just for the name, because I wanted something that was probably like lower primary if I were working with maybe kindergarten, first, second, around that age. But I could see all elementary students using this, but tried to target the lower primary students. My example I'll show you here off of my Weebly. Now, the one thing I guess you could say a con for it or a negative is as you're putting it onto your Weebly, it doesn't play on your actual Weebly site. Of Computers by Emily Stumler. In 1820. So I'll stop there. But something that I really liked about it was that you can narrate it yourself. So you can, instead of typing in, you can actually speak in your words. And I thought kids would really like that. Also on like the main dashboard here, you can use the art pad and students can draw their own pictures. Similar to Bobby or using the ABC, the kids could draw their pictures. I love kid art, so I'm always recommending using that. But they could easily draw a picture, and then you could have your kids narrate them. I was thinking it would be a great way for kids to, or a classroom to make like a class book. Everybody adding in a page, and then everyone narrating their page. It would be something nice to share maybe at the end of the year or at the end of a particular unit. The positives that I said for Little Bird Tales, I love that you can narrate your own stories, and I think kids would love to do that as well. There was an Apple app for it, but a negative would be there's not an Android app, so if you were using Android devices in your classroom, you wouldn't be able to have an app for it, but you can always access it through the computer. Another positive would be on Little Bird Tales, they have lesson plans that are core content. You can create different lessons, or you can choose from a database of different lessons on how other teachers are using Little Bird Tales in their classrooms. So I thought that would be a great kind of collaboration tool. Some of the negatives for Little Bird Tales, if you were, when you go and you purchase, it does have a free option, and you can completely function under that free option, but you are limited in some of your layouts. But if you were to buy a membership, you only get 20 students for your class, and then you have to pay for each additional student after that. And like we all know, most classrooms aren't just 20 kids. It works for me because I'm ECE and I don't have a full class load. I have students for resource. So I found that one thing that I didn't like about it, as it was switching the pages on the book, it was a little glitchy. At the end of the page, it made like this, almost like a crunching sound when the page turned. It wasn't an actual sound effect that was supposed to enhance your book, but it was just how it was stopping from your narration and then going to the next piece of narration and the next page. I thought that was a little glitchy, and then like I said, there wasn't an Android app for it, but I really like this one. I think it would probably be, out of all three, the one that I found that was easiest to use and that I could use in my classroom. And I have used this. I actually collaborated with one of my first grade classrooms, and we had the students use this for their science unit.
And what ways can you share the books that you make?
Well, you let's see, if with Little Bird Tales, you can upload them onto like a class website, or you could have, like, if you're all in a class, like as a teacher, you can have like a bookshelf to where all the kids' books would go on that bookshelf, and then kids could go to each other's books and read them, and they could also add comments on, like they could do little book reviews.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool feature.
how do the when you use it with your students, how they like it? Do they really enjoy it? Do they get a little bored with it, or they like it a lot?
Oh, they like it a lot. I mean, I'm constantly looking for things that are on the computer that they can show what they know, and they've really taken off with Zoo Burst and Little Bird Tales. Animoto, I haven't attempted with my kids, and I don't think I will.
Yeah.
I think it's just a little too. I don't know. There's something about it that I don't like. I think it's more business driven. And
Right.
I
Yeah.
just didn't think that it was kidsy enough for the
Yeah,
kids.
Little Bird Tale seems like it'd be fun for students.
Mhm.
If I was in the classroom, I would want to use it.
Right.
All right. The last one that I am doing is Story Jumper. It's actually one that I have used also not in my classroom, but I did an intersession with third and fourth grade group, and I used it for them to create informational books. It's really easy to use. It's a great resource for kids to make their own digital books online. It has lots of clip arts and text boxes and features that you can use. The one thing I don't like about it is that it doesn't have an app for iPads. Which again, I'm trying to make sure I use those a lot in my classroom, and so I actually ended up using the Book Creator app more. I would love for Story Jumper to get its own app because I think it has a lot more to offer to kids, but right now it just doesn't, so I've just been using Book Creator to create our books. Some pros, it's really super easy to use. I think my first graders were able to use it quickly without a lot of support. The steps are really intuitive, so they kind of be able to navigate easily. You can share the books in lots of ways, including embedding them, and the kids can also purchase the books and actually have them printed for them, which is fun. And again, it's very kid-friendly. It has a very kid-friendly look, just the graphics and the platform and stuff. I do wish it was easier to add pictures, because when you upload them from the computer, it automatically makes it into like a little face circle, and you have to select square and then increase the size of the picture, which is just a lot of steps for my first graders to remember to get to a square picture. Also, the prices are a little high for hardcover. I think it's $25. Paperback's only $13, but if you have parents who are tight, they might have to only choose one book to buy, which kind of stinks. If you do just print a book, which is free, it doesn't have very good high quality, and it has the Story Jumper like watermark in it, which is also kind of annoying because it kind of destroys your work. But it's a really great, easy to use site. Here's the one that I made. This is the way that you can share them, so it's kind of exciting. You get to actually turn the pages. And again, it has lots of text boxes and clip arts and different things that you can use. You can add as much font as you want on each page. You can add a background. You can add pictures. You can add all kinds of things. So it creates really interesting books when kids are done. I would suggest any type of book that a kid could use for Story Jumper. Just because it doesn't have an app, I'm not using it very much, but I would say grades 2 or higher, or I could see my first graders using it, like I said, just a little more support. And I think it's great. I've actually used it in my classroom, and I really like it, so it's something that I would definitely suggest other people trying to.
I like that you can purchase the books. That's kind of neat. You know, if you could, like, I remember back when I was in school, Young Authors was big, where you actually wrote your book and you had it published and it came in its little hardback.
Yeah, it was special. We, with the Book Creator app, a lot of my parents around here don't have computers or internet and stuff, so they can't actually get to the books that we're creating, which stinks. But with Story Jumper, I guess I could get it printed for them, but then again, it's kind of pricey. I mean, I would love to like print one for each kid, but $13 a pop is too much for.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. My last tool was called Impressor, and it's a slide share tool, kind of like PowerPoint, where you create slides. You can add images, text. You can add audio and videos also. I'll go ahead and show you all what that looks like. Impressor. You guys see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so like I said, it's like PowerPoint. You create your SlideShare tool, really neat. You can just do a little more with this, I think. Um, uh, some of the pros of it that I found, the free version it offered a lot. The free, you didn't have to pay more to get more with it. You could do a lot just with the free version. Um, it presented slides in a neat and creative way. Sometimes they came at you in like cubes, or when they went away, they kind of vanished or just faded off the screen. So I thought that was neat. Once the images were on your page, you could easily move them around, or you can move the text around, or change backgrounds, or make it look good to your liking. Or you could really work with each slide and do a lot with each slide. Some of the cons: it took a while to upload the images. Like when I was adding images on, it took like 20 to 30 seconds per image, which was really frustrating. Something else, it wouldn't give me when I was trying to embed this onto my I was trying to embed it onto my Weebly. It wouldn't give me the embed code, and so I couldn't embed it onto my Weebly. Like I tried forever to get the embed code, and it just wouldn't give it to me. So that was frustrating. With putting audio on, if you didn't have audio already on your computer, then if you didn't have audio files already uploaded, you couldn't put audio on there. So I think it needs some type of audio database, make it easier for people. What Impressor looks like the presentations. So this is my SlideShare show right here. I'll just come down here. You can see how it kind of moves around, like as each slide pops on, it presents it in a creative way. I can change the backgrounds, the pictures, and then it kind of, that one I change it to red. So with this, this is a SlideShare tool that I recommend for like middle school or high school kids. Upper level elementary may be able to do it, but I would start out with like middle school or high school. So let me get back to the regular screen again.
I could see that being beneficial for kids that are just kind of burnt out on PowerPoint.
Right. So it's a different alternative to PowerPoint, and you can do it, like I said, you can do a little more with it. I think it's a little more creative in the way that it presented, like when it presented the slides, I thought it was more neat than just PowerPoint. PowerPoint can be a little boring at times.
Yeah.
And it looked a little more user-friendly than Prezi, which I kind of feel like for kids sometimes can get kind of intense to use it.
Yeah, I've used Prezi before, and it definitely is more user-friendly than Prezi. Like I say, the only really frustrating part of it is when you're putting your pictures on there and your images, it takes forever for the images to upload. Like, you're on a screen, you type your text, you want to add your image. Once you hit upload, prepare to wait like 20 to 30 seconds before it pops up.
Yeah.
For each slide.
Kids definitely get frustrated with taking longer.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, when I'm all finished. When I was all finished, I was trying to add it onto my Weebly and couldn't get the embed code for nothing. So that's kind of like a glitch. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like a glitch with Impressor on their site. It won't give you the embed code. Mm-hmm. So I had to put it on my Weebly as just like a link, because I couldn't embed it on there at all. And I saw that other people that used Impressor, they had the same problems. They couldn't get the embed code. So that's something that needs to be fixed with the systems.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast, and I will email you all to your Gmail accounts with the actual YouTube link.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
no problem. Have a good day.
All right. You guys too. Bye.